pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Justice Byrd, would you give our invitation, please?
I will. Thank you, Judge. Heavenly Father, we come thanking you and praising you for who you are, Father, the Lord of Lords, King of Kings. We thank you, Father, for all the blessings that you pour out on us. We pray, Heavenly Father, that we'll always be mindful that all things are guided by you. We pray, Heavenly Father, that you will watch over us and guide us tonight. Give us sober thoughts as we go about conducting the business of the county, Father. Again, we praise you and thank you. Forgive us when we fail. We ask in Christ's name.
Thank you.
Justice Matt.
Here.
Justice Belcher. Justice Byrd.
Here.
Justice Clay. Justice Lehman.
Here.
Justice Henry.
Here.
Justice Butler. Here. Justice Jackson. Justice Nelson.
Here.
Justice Norval.
Here.
Justice White.
Here.
We do have a quorum. The next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes.
Judge, I'd like to make a motion we dispense with the reading of the minutes since we've all been provided with a copy.
All in favor?
Aye.
We'll move on to the treasurer's report. Ms. Cindy, you have the treasurer's report tonight.
The interest rate is 0.50, and that is at First Commercial Bank on $100,000 for 1 year CD. And you have your sales tax report in front of you, and the sales tax that we received in May was down considerably, which we kind of expected that. We have not received sales tax yet for June, so I don't know if that's going to be down again or not. And you also have your fund balance report in front of you as of today.
Anything in particular, Peggy, that we're down below 700,000 on county general, which is first time in quite some time. Anything that sticks out, just lack of tax collection?
Well, tax collections have been down some. The county revenues have been down from the state revenues. The county general revenues were down some. The road revenues are not down as much as what they anticipated. That has been a big surprise to us, really.
Good.
So, you know, people are really beginning to travel a little bit more than what, you know, they're beginning to get on the road more. So the fuel taxes and stuff like that are going back up. So the road revenue is back up, really, but the county general revenue has been down. I don't know for sure what the percentage is right off the top of my head, but the county general revenue was down, and the taxes were down. So I guess that's, you know, where that comes from. So, but I think overall we're still doing a lot better than a lot of other counties are, according to what we hear every week on our conference calls.
Thank you, Justice Jackson is not with us tonight. Is there someone that can give us a report on the interview property committee?
Please, the court, Justice Jackson asked me to provide a report for tonight. Big thing we were doing was looking at the courthouse renovation and getting some explanation on things. Some of the things that we learned that were of interest was like the chandelier. There was some question about why we had so much in the chandelier, and then we found out that that's not just a chandelier, it's a chandelier and 4 additional lights. And they're time era sensitive. The other questions were about some of the other things in there. When explanations were given, they made a lot more sense. $100,000 for painting, which is actually a painting scheme. I understand that we got information today on that, on part of the cost of that, and it will be possibly quite a bit better than we expected. We also learned that some line items are coming in less than we had planned in there, so overall, we're doing well. And just personal knowledge, I know that the tower did come down on Saturday. I drove by and saw it. So hopefully we'll be able to get going with the rest of the construction. And I called JT tonight. He said he thinks we have something done with the emergency squad building, possibly not going to cost us any money. You want me to go ahead and give the second report for them also? Or?
Yes, please, yes.
All right. And in our second meeting, we discussed the emergency squad building. Also, we were told that the tower was coming down on the 20th. We also looked at the insurance, and some discussion was given that we might want to, once we're through with this project here and we look at renewing, we might want to increase the amount of coverage on this building here in Osceola, because we don't think we can replace it for what we've got in insurance for. The law library, my understanding is they've got the books out of the courtroom now so that they can proceed there. Looks like overall we're doing well with the budget from what Mr. Ruby was telling us. We did discuss some changes looking at the Sally Port doors, possibly going back to the gates and screening those on the inside. We're going to have a meeting again, I believe, on the 30th, and there we'll look at that a little bit harder. Any questions for me? I'll be happy to try to answer.
Thank you, Justice Zach. I think you're up.
Yes, sir. We had an energy and property meeting, or a personnel committee meeting on June the 2nd. The main reason to look at that was the possibility of putting into place a social media policy. Tonight, you'll see that in our packet. We forwarded over the one that we had over to Jeremy Thomas. He suggested an addition of reminding people that we are still an at-will employer. So that will be a resolution that we'll have coming before the court tonight. And I believe I have the next report also. Police and fire. The Sheriff's Department, because of the recent things that have went on in cities and towns around the country, has started looking at buying some riot gear to be stored at the Sheriff's office. They have money in their budget. That was not a big thing. There was going to be a cost of about $11,000 to $12,000, but they still have that small equipment. We also discussed the fact that there had been an animal cruelty case in which they had to send some DNA out to California to be tested. The Sheriff's Department, CID, really didn't have an area to pay for that from, so we requested $2,500 to be placed in investigative purposes and equipment fund for the CID for things like that might come up. And those were the main things that we discussed in that.
Any questions? Justice Zach, did you cover the June 11th energy property?
Yes, sir. That was, we went over. I went and skipped over mine and did that.
Thank you, Justice Zach. Justice White?
Yes, sir. The Finance Committee meeting met on social distance. The Finance Committee meeting met last Monday. Fairly brief meeting. Our budget is at 42% of the year, and all the elected officials and department heads were well within their budget. Everybody's holding on to their spending and the expectations of a possible revenue downfall, which we're seeing a little bit of. But in general, the county's in reasonably good shape. We've been working for years to get back in a position where if we had hard times like we're seeing right now, that it wouldn't be terribly impacted on us as we've seen some other counties suffer. We're in reasonable, decent shape. Ms. Tamika brought us a resolution concerning a hospital grant, $750,000. We looked at the resolution and agreed to advance it to the full court, but we talked with the Fire Police and Safety Committee and the Personnel Committee, and then went to our county attorney, and you'll see an adaptation of that resolution tonight in an excessive force policy and working in coordination with the Economic Development Commission in Little Rock. That'll be presented later. Then on the courthouse renovation, the Energy and Property Committee had met a couple of times and put together anticipated expenditures for the coming month for the courthouse renovation project. And so you'll see an appropriation ordinance tonight appropriating $1.25 million out of the bond revenues towards that courthouse renovation project and the anticipated bill for this coming month. Then, as Justice Ash just referred to, the Fire Police and Safety Committee, you'll see another appropriation ordinance for $2,500. The CID department had to go out of state for some testing and realize that we don't have a line item in the budget for that type of testing. So we're asking for a $2,500 appropriation tonight for a special line item for special testing in the CID division. Then Harley Bradley, our county assessor, brought us up to date on the software update that he's seeing in his department. All the department heads in the courthouse are working together and coordinating in their software packages, the type of software that each of the elected officials are using in the courthouse. And they're getting to where now we're all going to be on the same software, speaking the same language, and every department will be able to communicate with one another. So that's going to be a great improvement in the services that the county's able to offer to the citizens. In general, we're in great shape. We had a good meeting, and just like this one, I hope it was kind of short. Any questions?
Thank you, Justice White. Justice Nelson. Justice Nelson, do you have a report on planning development?
I do, Judge. I had to come out of that mask. It's about to burn me up. We did meet June the 18th to talk about a project for Big River Steel. Mr. Chetwood had talked with them and promised them that we would appropriate $1.8 million for 100 employees. That would be $18,000 for Mississippi County employees and $9,000 for employees in the Boot Hill. We have that on the agenda tonight. Also, Mr. Chetwood reported that we have an option on some Oldendorf property for 100 acres. We got the money budgeted, so there's no additional money for that, that we have to appropriate for that. And pretty well it was a brief meeting, but very worthwhile, and we got some things accomplished. If there's any questions, I'll be glad to answer. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Justice Nelson. We'll move on to new business.
Resolution number R 2020-9. A resolution amending the Mississippi County Employment Policies and Procedures Handbook to include a provision regarding employee use of social media and for other purposes. Whereas Mississippi County, Arkansas currently has in place the Mississippi County Employment Policies and Procedures Handbook containing guidelines concerning its employment policies and procedures. Whereas illegal or inappropriate use of social media or other internet services by Mississippi County employees could potentially have an adverse effect upon Mississippi County. Whereas the Mississippi County Quorum Court wishes to provide guidelines for the use of social media by Mississippi County employees. Whereas the Personnel Committee of the Mississippi County Quorum Court has recommended the addition of language to be contained in the Mississippi County Employment Policies and Procedures Handbook concerning the use of social media by Mississippi County employees. And whereas the Quorum Court desires to add said language to the Mississippi County Employment Policies and Procedures Handbook as recommended by the Personnel Committee. Now therefore be it resolved by the Quorum Court of Mississippi County, Arkansas, the following shall be added to the Mississippi 12, social media policy. Social media includes all means of communicating or posting information or content of any sort on the internet. The same principles and guidelines applicable to county employee conduct also apply to county employees' activities online. Employees shall maintain an appropriate level of professionalism during working hours and non-working hours. Any conduct that adversely affects employees' job performance, the performance of fellow employees, or otherwise adversely affects the interests of the county and/or citizens may result in disciplinary action up to and including termination. This policy applies to comments made under the employee's name or under a pseudonym used by the employee as a username. Harassment and cyberbullying of any county employee will result in termination. Racist or sexist comments or comments that target the religious beliefs of others will result in termination. County employees should avoid posts, likes, or other social media activity during working hours and on county-owned equipment, unless authorized to do so by a supervisor or consistent with county policy. State law prohibits electioneering by public servants during work hours. Employees should consider any political activity to be electioneering. Nothing in this section is intended to amend or alter Mississippi County's status as an at-will employer or any employee status as an at-will employee, as set forth in this handbook and pursuant to the Arkansas law.
Move for adoption.
Is there a second? Is there discussion?
Judge, this came from thoughts of some posts that were posted to Facebook a while back. And what we're trying to do is just make sure that the employees understand that they have to perform as a professional. I know that some people think this infringes upon people's free speech. The problem is you can't be arrested for having free speech, but you don't necessarily have to have a job if you want to speak out in ways that your employer would disapprove of. And that's what we're looking at. Someone who's misrepresenting your office, and you have the ability under this particular policy to discipline them. The same thing in any other elected official's office. If they feel that their employees are speaking out in a way that's detrimental to the county or detrimental to their representative, then they have the right to take action on that case.
Further discussion? Mr. Byrd, would you call the roll?
Justice Ash?
Yes.
Justice Byrd?
Yes.
Justice Freeman?
Yes.
Justice Hinton?
Yes.
Justice Hilker? Yes. Justice Nelson?
Yes.
Justice Norval?
Yes.
Justice White?
Yes.
Approved, resolution 2-9. Mr. Byrd, would you read the next resolution, please?
Resolution number R 2020-10. A resolution establishing a policy prohibiting the use of excessive force against individuals engaged in nonviolent civil rights demonstrations and for other purposes. Whereas Mississippi County, Arkansas is applying for Arkansas Community and Economic Development Program funding, and whereas as required by the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974, as amended, it shall be the policy of Mississippi County, Arkansas to ensure that the following are true. 1, the county has adopted and is enforcing a policy prohibiting the use of excessive force by law enforcement agencies within its jurisdiction against individuals engaged in nonviolent civil rights demonstrations. 2, the county has adopted and is enforcing a policy of enforcing applicable state and local laws against physically barring entrance to or exit from a facility or location that is the subject of such nonviolent civil rights demonstrations within its jurisdiction. Now therefore be it resolved upon that consistent with the goals and objectives of activities assisted under the Act, as amended, Mississippi County,
adoption.
Second.
Is there discussion?
Judge, this is something that was brought to finance, but in discussion, it should have came to police and fire. I went and spoke with the sheriff, and he was not happy with the original ordinance that we were brought, a resolution. And I got with Jeremy Thomas and asked him to look at this and see what we needed to have. Mr. Thomas was gracious enough to make several phone calls and get back with me, and what we have tonight is what he determined we absolutely had to have according to the Arkansas Economic Development Commission rules. And that's what we presented here tonight for consideration.
Further discussion? Ms. Curry, would you call the roll?
Justice Ash,
Yes.
Justice Byrd,
Yes.
Justice Newman,
Yes.
Justice Hinton,
Yes.
Justice Hubner. Yes. Justice Nelson,
Yes.
Justice Normal,
Yes.
Justice White.
Yes.
Disapprove resolution number R 2020-10. We'll move on to ordinances. Further review the appropriation.
Appropriation ordinance number O-2020-27. An ordinance authorizing modifying appropriations for the operation of Mississippi County government, including the appropriation of certain funds for the construction and renovation of the Mississippi County courthouses and for other purposes. Whereas there are currently underway construction and renovation projects on the Mississippi County courthouses in Bible and Osceola. Whereas by resolution number R 2020-8 and appropriation ordinance number O-2020-25, the Mississippi County Quorum Court determined to appropriate funds for said projects in advance of the expenditures being made. Whereas it has been reported to the Mississippi County Quorum Court by the entities responsible for the performance of said projects that funds are currently needed in the amount of $1,250,000. Whereas Mississippi County Quorum Court wishes to provide funding for the cost of said projects, and whereas the Finance Committee has approved and recommends this funding and appropriation, now therefore be it enacted by the Quorum Court of Mississippi County, Arkansas, that the following appropriations modifications are hereby made for the 2020 budget. Slot number or account number 4800.0108.4006 for construction in progress in the amount of $1,250,000. 2, all appropriations previously authorized, approved, and made as to all other offices, departments, and agencies of county government, and all other funds not hereinabove changed, are to remain as previously appropriated. Detailed provisions of said appropriations are reflected in the schedule of specific items listed by account numbers within the category for each office and found in the office of the county clerk. 3, this ordinance being an appropriation ordinance shall be in full force and effective immediately from and after its passage and approval by the county judge.
Move for adoption.
Second.
Is there discussion? Ms. Curry, would you call the roll?
Justice Ash,
Yes.
Justice Byrd,
Yes.
Justice Cleveland,
Yes.
Justice Hinton,
Yes.
Justice Hubner. Yes. Justice Nelson,
Yes.
Justice Norval,
Yes.
Justice White.
Yes.
Now approve the appropriation ordinance 2020-27. We'll move on to the next appropriation ordinance. Ms. Curry, would you read that, please?
Appropriation ordinance number O-2020-28. An ordinance authorizing and modifying appropriations for the operation of Mississippi County government, including an appropriation to provide supplies for use at the Mississippi County Sheriff's Department and for other purposes. Whereas the Mississippi County Sheriff's Department has reported to the Mississippi County Quorum Court that it is in need of funding for the purchase of supplies for use in criminal investigation. Whereas the Mississippi County Sheriff's Department provisions of said appropriations are reflected in the schedule of specific items listed by account numbers within the category for each office and filed in the office of the county court clerk. 3, this ordinance being an appropriation ordinance shall be in full force and effect immediately from and after its passage and approved by the county judge.
Move for adoption.
Second.
Is there discussion? Mr. Rivers, you call the roll.
Justice Ash?
Yes.
Justice Byrd?
Yes.
Justice Lehman?
Yes.
Justice Hinton?
Yes.
Justice Hubler?
Yes.
Justice Nelson?
Yes.
Justice Norval?
Yes.
Justice White?
Yes.
Approve appropriation. Roll 2020-28. Move on to the next appropriation ordinance. Mr. Rivers, you read the bill.
Appropriation ordinance number 2020-29. An ordinance authorizing and modifying appropriation for the operation of Mississippi County government, including an appropriation for a Big River Steel commitment and for other purposes. Whereas Amendment 97 to the Constitution of the State of Arkansas permits Mississippi County, Arkansas to appropriate funds for the financing of economic development projects directly to private corporate entities. Whereas the Quorum Court of Mississippi County, Arkansas has previously provided funding for Big River Steel commitment. Whereas the Quorum Court of Mississippi County, Arkansas wishes to provide further funding for a Big River Steel commitment as a part of an ongoing expansion in the amount of $18,000 per job for Mississippi County, Arkansas residents hired and $9,000 per job for Duncan County, Missouri and Penobscot County, Missouri residents hired in a total amount not to exceed $800,000. Whereas the Planning and Development Committee has approved and recommends this funding and appropriation, and whereas the Quorum Court of Mississippi County, Arkansas has reviewed the needed funding and has approved same. Now therefore be it enacted by the Quorum Court of Mississippi County, Arkansas, that 1, upon Big River Steel providing substantiation for reimbursement of incurred expenses which qualify as economic development projects under a job creation agreement between Mississippi County, Arkansas and Big River Steel, the appropriate officers and employees of Mississippi County, Arkansas are hereby permitted and directed to reimburse Big River Steel directly for all funds expended pursuant to said agreement in the amount of $18,000 per job for Mississippi County, Arkansas residents hired and $9,000 per job for Duncan County, Missouri and Penobscot County, Missouri residents hired in a total amount not to exceed $1,800,000. 2, the following appropriations modifications are hereby made for the 2020 budget. Slot or account number 34140140.3999 for Big River Steel commitment in the amount of $1,800,000. 3, all appropriations previously authorized, approved, and made as to all other offices, departments, and agencies of county government, and all other funds not hereby changed are to remain as previously appropriated. Detailed provisions of said appropriations are reflected in the schedule of specific items listed by account numbers within the category for each office and filed in the office of the county court clerk. 4, this ordinance being an appropriation ordinance shall be in full force and effect immediately from and after its passage and approved by the county judge.
Move for adoption.
Adoption, Judge.
Second.
Is there discussion?
Yes, I want to ask Mr. Chipwood a question. Okay. This money that we're giving these mills, that's especially the stuff going to Duncan and Penobscot County, I would like to know how much money is going to employees that live in Penobscot and Duncan County. And I would like to know how much taxes are being spent back in Arkansas.
We commissioned a study that, per your suggestion, at the last Quorum Court meeting, from a professional group. We have also been following up with the 2 companies that Justice Ash recommended. We have not heard back from them yet. So we have commissioned it's called Retail Coach, and they are going to do what they call an inverse study.
Yeah, and I don't want to make these mills are great for our county. I mean, no, I don't wanna make any bones about that, but I just wanna know how much money's leaving our county and not coming back.
That's right. So they're gonna be able to tell us, what they're gonna try to tell us is how much money is coming in from those two counties to our county. I thought that, isn't that the question?
That's the question, but I also want to know, what is the percentage that we're paying people that's living outside the state versus people living in Arkansas?
Well,
I mean, one time I think you said 50-50, and I've heard more like 70% live in Dunklin and Pimscott, and 30% live in Arkansas.
it really depends on the employer. I mean, now like Big River, their baseline, where they're starting, is the 245 Mississippi County employees, and 62 employees from the two Missouri counties. So that's almost 4-1 Mississippi County. And then with the pipe mills, I would say it's between 60 and 70% of Mississippi County. Probably the two nuclear mills are where it draws closest together. And I know the figure at the nuclear mill is now a little over 300 in Mississippi County, but I don't know how many are. In their first request for incentive reimbursement several years ago, they were hiring at that time at a rate of almost 38% Mississippi County residents and about 22% from the Missouri counties. So there's a lot of people out there that don't live in Mississippi County.
Oh, I understand. I realize there's Sharp County, Craighead County, there's people traveling from Shelby County and everywhere. I just want to know how much money's going to Boot Hill, not coming back to Arkansas. So that's one of my big concerns about giving $900 for each employee that lives in the Boot Hill.
Right. We should have that figure.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Judge, I was going to say before
Yes.
Justice Norvell started that we're closing in on 5,000 jobs. I think that's substantial and something to be proud of. And with that, I'll say.
Any further discussion?
Justice Ash?
Yes.
Justice Burge?
Yes.
Justice Freeman?
Yes.
Justice Henry?
Yes.
Justice Hooker? Yes. Justice Nelson?
Yes.
Justice Normal?
Yes.
Justice White?
Yes.
Just passed ordinance O 2020-29. Those are ordinances. Is there any old business? Any announcements? I'll entertain a motion.
Move to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.